Well.
As we enter 2022, my goodness, that is hard to say. No doubt, like me, you're thinking about your New Year's resolutions, and maybe some of it's going to be about weight loss and improving your finances. Some of it might also, though, be what you want to do to further your soul and your spirit. And a lot of us for that will mean considering giving to the local organizations that make our community such a wonderful place to live. So enter Jane Kaler, who for years has been almost the face of the Ronald McDonald House Charities. Good to see you this morning, Jane.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am so fine, and I'm glad to see you this morning because I think over the Christmas part of the season, an awful lot of us probably had conversations around the table about how blessed we were to have our health. That's everything when you're listing your blessings. And yet every day, y'all are helping families whose children are not in good health, and they need that support.
That's right. You know, there's nothing I think probably worse than having a sick child, and having a sick child in the midst of this pandemic that seems like it's never going to end is even worse. But fortunately, we've been able to continue to provide our services all through, the challenges of 20 and 21. And as we are entering 2022 here, hoping things are going to get better for everyone. But, the Ronald McDonald House always needs help. We've been so fortunate to have the support of the community, despite the fact we've had to cancel events, because of the pandemic. And so we're just grateful for all the donations and everything that people bring to us.
I sat back like a lot of people did probably around the Christmas week and watching Channel 3 and seeing about the generosity of this community that we live in, the Santa Train and the Forgotten Child Fund, and on the story goes. When there is a need presented, people in the Tennessee Valley step up. Y'all could not have done what you've done all these years without that support.
We would not have been as successful, been able to help so many families and to, operate our facility inside Children's Hospital. A couple of years ago, we added a hospitality cart to our program over there. During part of the pandemic, it was paused, but we're back up and operating with it. It was really important during the worst of the surges of the pandemic, when some of the families were quarantined, could not even leave their child's hospital room to go to the cafeteria. We provided snack bags, and so there's some essential services that people sometimes don't think about, the logistics of being in the hospital or having a child in the hospital, and how important it is to have, just a place to rest and food and a place to take a shower. Sometimes the shower is the thing that keeps you going day after day.
Mm-hmm. So talk about what y'all might be needing right now, because you've had to learn to pivot. That became the word of the last couple of years as the pandemic's face showed itself in different ways. Is monetary donation still the main thing you need, or do you need volunteer help?
Well, we are trying to gear back up with our volunteer program for the family room inside the hospital. And we know that there are some of our volunteers who probably will not return to the program. They have to be fully vaccinated, and that's a challenge for some, and some of them are fearful about coming into the hospital, but it's a big need. That program's totally run by volunteers, so we do need new volunteers for the family room. We always, one of the things that's been such a challenge during the pandemic is providing food for the families. With our Adopt-A-Meal volunteers having their challenges, and we are only able to have 4 in the house at a time. We've had to order a lot of food from restaurants for the families, and so restaurant gift cards are really appreciated, along with just monetary donations. It takes about $75 per day per family for us to provide our services at the Ronald McDonald House. And so the increments of 75, you're helping one family for one night.
And help us remember too, Jane, so many people here in Chattanooga can forget that for people who maybe live an hour, even an hour and a half away from Chattanooga, y'all become the hospital for their child. They don't have the ability to run home.
That's exactly right. For some of the families, particularly those kind of from the Blue Ridge area up on the Ocoee, it may be a 2-hour drive to home. And when you have a child in the hospital, particularly a neonatal baby who's sometimes in very precarious situation, or a child who's getting cancer treatment every day, not only is the travel tough on the families physically, it's tough on them financially also too. And so having a place to stay right next to the hospital is such an advantage for them, both physically and financially.
Well, I know I've got to let you run. For people who want to give, is the best thing to do to go online, or can they even just send you in an old-fashioned check? How are you doing that?
Well, we take it any way it comes. Old-fashioned checks appreciated, and we are seeing a lot more online donations than we used to. But we'll take it any way you can drop by. We've got an easy way to drop by food or donations or paper goods, things that help us in the house. All you have to do is just drive up to the back of the house and call a number that's posted out there, and we come out and get it. So it's kind of curb service at the Ronald McDonald House. But we'll take it any way you want to give it to us, and you can call us and give us your credit card number. We're trying to make it as easy for the donor as possible.
Well, thank you for your years of dedicated service to the families there at Ronald McDonald House, and we just value you very much, Jane. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on today, Julie. Happy New Year.
You love where you live and know you're not